CMC, for the people, by the people, and to the people. Citizens movement for change. Oh yes, a new day has come. Yes, a new day has come. Rise up, Liberia. CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better life. CMC, CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better life. Equity, national unity, transparency, accountability, social justice, integrity, CMC core values. CMC Global. It is a new day for Liberia. It is a new day for the people. Let's hold together. Let's hold together. It's a unity. Raise up your hands. The land of liberty, the light of freedom, the love of liberty brought us together. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, yes, 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 the time has come.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Depending on your location, we want to say welcome. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Nangwe, firstly, I don't know which one of the platform we are live on right now because I'm checking on the political laws. I'm checking on Inside Liberia. I'm also checking on the CMC USA,
Okay.
CMC Diaspora USA, and I'm not seeing us live there.
So if you look on the top panel there, you'll see them line up. We're on CMC USA Diaspora, CMC Diaspora USA. We're on Dr. Richardson's page. We are also live on Inside Liberia. We're also live on the Political Lounge, and we're live on the Political Lounge on YouTube. So those are the platforms we're live on right now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 platforms. So we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook.
Yeah, thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Nangwe. Initially, that was not appearing from my end. But
Okay.
I think that is much better for me now. But it's good to be here tonight. Depending on your location, we want to say thanks for joining us on the CMC news. You can check on Inside Liberia. You check on the Political Lodge on both Facebook and YouTube. You also check on the CMC Diaspora USA. You'll find live there where we are here to talk more about training issues from Liberia. My name is Winston Cooper, and I'm pretty seated here tonight as the moderator for tonight's edition. I think this is a huge responsibility given to me by the global chair, but it's good to be here. And I'm here with Mr. Nangwe. Mr. Nangwe, how you doing? From where I sit, it's already Friday, so the weekend starts today. But for you, how you doing? How been a week so far?
I'm doing good, Winston, and congratulations. You're doing great. I think you'll do well tonight. We're here together. We're a team. I'm sure others will be joining us. But I'm doing well. It's good to be joining you. It's good to also be joining our audience as well. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. I'm in New Jersey. Today was relatively better, a beautiful day compared to the past couple of days where the cold has been brutal. But today, it was in the 50s, but really not that you still had to wear a jacket, but it was bearable, and it's a beautiful. It's too much sun, so yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's in the evening here now on my end. It is
Okay.
about 6:38 in the evening on Thursday, so you're ahead of me.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. So basically as culture on the show, we have already done our, intro. I think you just to us. In fact, the name is Anangbe is a household name now in the media in Liberia and elsewhere. So we will now go on, what's on our mind. As you may be aware, there are training issues happening in Liberia, ranging from the Oronto deal and going up to the Supreme Court ruling on the rate of prohibition filed by the former finance minister, Mr. Tuet. And you also been following a couple of things going on, stand protests in the country, CMC news, and the decision of the PL in the House of Representatives about the Oronto deal. I think today they what we saw today just gave light to that. But we will talk about what's on your mind, and then after that we'll dive into our conversation. So let's hear you in the next 2 minutes. Tell us what is on your mind, what have been your observation over the period in Liberia.
Thank you very much, Winston. I mean, I have a lot on my mind, but I'll be honest with you, there can't be anything foremost on anybody's mind right now. Who means well for our country? In the passage of the budget, into, I mean, it's going to, the president will sign it and then it will go into handbills and become law. You know, so many people have expressed apprehensions, reservations, concerns about this budget. Our political leader, Musa Zambelete, has been one of the very first few people. As a matter of fact, the entire CMC, we did a rebuttal to the budget, and we highlighted some of the failings of this budget. We talked about the fact that the numerical value of the budget has increased, and yet support to some of the essential sectors actually decreased. Support to health, supposed to, I mean, to many, because the political leader of the CMC highlighted a clinic in District Number 7, in Nimba, that he represents. Funding to the clinic in there was reduced. How do you explain that? The budget is going up, and yet support to some sectors, is reducing. Senator Cornyn came out and also highlighted some of these, and lamented the fact that this is an agriculture president. This president, is LPMC. Is an agriculture president, as you indicated. We'll go into details about this, but that is what is on my mind. How is it that, with all of these expressed reservations about this budget, and how did Senator Clinton decide to vote yes for this budget after all this? And so yes, I'm glad to be with you tonight. This is the CMC hour. We'll have a lot of good time here. I hope our colleagues are also making their way here. Did you get a message from Dr. Richardson about Mr. Jackson?
Mhm.
Sempi Jackson.
Okay.
I think he
Yeah.
wants to.
Thank you, Jackson.
Yeah, he wants to make an input into the discussion at some point in time. But yeah, it's good to be with you here, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Namwe. So the autonomy for tonight, we will, we already done with the, you have already given on what is on your mind. I will be doing my own shortly, and then from there we'll talk about the ruling of the Supreme Court today. I don't know if you follow that, and then that will be followed by CMC news, and I hope and pray that we'll be able to talk to Mr. Toby on the phone to give her, detailed information from Liberia as to some of the different progress that CMC is making in different counties within Liberia. And we will go down to the recap of the PL decision. One thing why I want us to reflect on the decision of the PL regarding, this Oranto and Total Energy deal. I want us to reflect on it because today what we saw, There are a lot of Liberians who have raised concern today from the decision of the Senate and the way things went today that this deal was not in the interest of the Liberian people. So I think the decision today and the quest of the Liberian people to understand the in totality the deal, about the Toronto deal and that of the Total Energy. I think we got to reflect on the PL decision to tell the Liberian people that the PL is somebody who can see things far ahead. He thinks like a rocket scientist. He see things far ahead, things that he knows that is not good for Liberian people, and he go against it to make sure that Liberian people can take a proper view of that. And again, from there we will close up on the passage of the Toronto Dew Energy by the House of Senate tonight. We saw, in fact, it just ended. We saw them in session tonight trying to pass that agreement. It's something that a lot of Liberians raised concern about. But again, like I said, like you said, in fact, firstly, you raised concern about this budget. I just want to also speak to that in what is on my mind too. Um, you know, the government is doing everything possible. The illusion of the impression they put the Liberian people on that yes we have getting our budget to 1.2 billion United States dollar. So at the end of the day, the government needs to do everything in their power. Whatsoever do what is in the interest of the Liberian people, they need to do everything humanly possible to make sure that they can raise that money for the budget. So you see, the government will do everything in their power to sign all of those Google concession agreement, all of the Google, energy agreement, and all of that, just to make sure and raise that money. And I believe that those agreements that they are signing, those agreements are going for long term. Some of those agreements will end up in another, presidential term. So at the end of the day, the Liberian people interest should come first. But we will look at that critically. We will give our analysis on it. But I'm just talking about what is on my mind. And again, I just want to speak about this issue about the stand protest that we saw yesterday. Yeah, it was day before yesterday. In fact, from my end, day before yesterday, we saw the protest. We saw how things have been going. And I think it is the right of all Liberians. It is our constitutional right when we have our disagreement to assemble and address our disagreement peacefully. And I think the consistent attack on protesters in Liberia, I think is setting another example out there and showing something bad to the international community. I think we should refrain from that. I think the police should be more of protective. When there are protests, the police should be able to protect the ground and make sure that protesters can have their concern forwarded to the national government for redress. And I think, the government owes that to the citizen because it is their constitutional right. So with that being said, Mr. Nangwe, I know we will call Mr. Jackson on the phone to talk to him. He's going to give a detailed analysis about the deal, and he will also speak on the ruling of the Supreme Court. But today we saw the Supreme Court coming down with a ruling on the writ of prohibition filed by the foreign finance minister, Samuel D. Tue. I don't know if I can just read a portion of it, or if you follow that. If you follow that, then I will just leave it with you to give your view on it, what you think, and considering the fact that when the Supreme Court ruled on the impasse in the House of Representatives, when it said everything that the majority bloc was doing was illegal, they should go back to session and do the right thing. You saw CDC, people from the opposition community. You saw them, yielding the Supreme Court, appreciating them, and making statement that the Supreme Court in no way can make any error in their decision. But then today, one thing I want us to reflect on before going to that, if you saw the act, if you have followed the act that created the NSA, the act gave, it aligned the finance minister with the NSA. That means the finance minister is also part of the NSA. So I'm coming. So the writ of prohibition that was filed by Samuel Tue was on ground that the act that created the NSA protected the finance minister, and he pleaded that whatsoever money that was used, or whatsoever decision that was taken by him, it was because of national security purpose. As such, the lower court, which is criminal code A, can I ask him to explain in detail what the money was meant for and how the money was being used. So that was the reason why he took the writ of prohibition to the Supreme Court, for the Supreme Court to overrule the decision of criminal code A to put the case on trial. But today you saw the Supreme Court coming out overruling that that the lower court, criminal code A, should go on with the trial. The final minister is now protected by the act that created the NSA. So what's your view on that? I know you follow that. I've not been given that in detail, but yeah, let's hear from you. What's your thoughts?
Yes, thank you very much, Winston. I mean, I honestly, I'm not really following former Minister Tour's trial. I'm not familiar with the details, but I can tell you this: there is precedent in Liberia now that you can be brought to court for decisions you took. I understand the argument that when you are in office, you should be you should enjoy immunity from prosecution for functions that you perform in your capacity, in your official capacity. I understand that, but then we go back to the case of former Defense Minister B.J. Samuka. B.J. Samuka, we believe, it was reported, was directed by the former president, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, to take some decisions relative to the AFL soldiers pension fund or something like that. And I believe the summary of the outcome of that case is that although you may be instructed by your higher up, but you have the right to also say no to bad instruction. So again, I'm not very familiar with Mr. Tua's case. I haven't been following it. I know that he returned to the country. I'm not sure if it's the same case, but because of his return to the country or whatever it is, there was this rate of Nisa Publica. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but that rate, which is supposed to have restrained him from leaving the country, and because of that, we know former immigration director Steve Zago no longer has a job. So it is a politically charged case, if I must say. And so I didn't think that the Supreme Court will sunset that case on the lower case. On the appeal to the lower case, the prohibition. I didn't think that was going to happen. I think there are a lot of people who have interest in this case. I think it represents, what could happen to officials of the former government. I mean, Senator Mr. Tua was one of the high-profile, people of this former government, and if they can bring him to trial successfully, I think they would have then begun the process of prosecuting some of these people who we all think they may have performed, misdeeds during their time in office. So I think that is what this case represents. Whether this government will have the right to prosecute these people or not. And so I think I didn't expect the Supreme Court will grant them the prohibition that was being sought by his lawyer. Again, I don't have the details. I'm not a lawyer, but based on what we've observed about cases, not exactly, but similar to his case, I'm not surprised that this is the ruling that the court came down with. Again, we've been reminded by Global time after time. I think Mr. Jackson, we all know, is late in Liberia now. I think he wants to make an early input into the program so that he can go to bed. So if I know you are monitoring, I hate to call the shots for you, but if Mr. Toby is listening, who I believe might be able to help us locally connect Mr. Jackson, I think he wants to say something about the budget that we're discussing. So, but it's all up to you, Winston. Okay. All right. I see you're engaged. So, Mr. Toby, I know you were under the weather yesterday. I hope you're feeling better if you're listening and you're following us. We're trying to. We have a number here from Mr. Jackson, but it's a local. You know what? Why I keep saying local number? This is not a local number. Hang on there, Winston. I think I might be able to call Mr. Jackson here. I hope you recognize my number and pick it up. P. Jackson, if you're watching the show, J. Victor number here on the political launch. I'm trying to
All
call
right.
you.
So Mr.
Yeah.
Nangwe, I have Mr. Jackson on the call. We're going to give
Okay.
him the time to come
Okay.
in.
Okay. Good.
He will Mr. Jackson will first speak about the decision. Mr. Jackson will first speak about the decision of the Supreme Court today, and then from there we'll move straightly to the Oranto due as well. While we await Mr. Tove to pick our call to give an insight about the CMC news. Good evening, Mr. Jackson, and thanks for joining us on the political launch. You're welcome, sir. We are currently talking about the decision of the Supreme Court today. Why say you, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm not an attorney, so I really cannot make any kind of legal knowledge on this. Okay, but I've been hearing from people from both sides. So on one side, for people who support former Minister Toye, that the justices were biased in their decision towards him because he's a member of the, I think, National Security Council or something of that nature, right? But I can't really make any definitive judgment on the matter because I'm not a lawyer. Yes, yeah. But all I can say is that I just hope that we can adjudicate these matters, fairly without any political manipulation, and I just hope that Mr. Toye gets his fair day in court, and that's all I can say.
But Sam, let me ask you this, J. Victor number here, if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Sam?
Sure, I can hear you.
Okay, and I hear the point you're making about the former minister being part of the National Security Council. Well, doesn't this case have similarity to the BJ Samgar case? I mean, he himself, he was a minister of national defense.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just telling you what the both sides are saying without being able to make any kind of value judgment or any kind of critical judgment on it. I'm just telling you what the other side is saying, right? And I don't know enough about implications are to make any kind of judgments. But all I can say is that, I read a summary of what the court said, and they're basically saying that they must return this case back to the jurisdiction of the lower court for the trial to continue. Okay. So my position is that I hope that Mr. Toye will get a free and fair trial, and that there will be preponderance of evidence that will convict him beyond a reasonable doubt, or that he will have a defense that will exonerate him of the charges that are in there. But on a personal note, he's a good friend of mine, and I don't think he purposely did anything criminal, but that's a personal opinion. And I wish him well, and I hope he gets justice in this matter.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your opinion on that. I think, like you rightly said it, we will just be looking at it from a court of public opinion, because the Supreme Court holds the jurisdiction, to decide over constitutional disputes and all of that. So, but let's go back to critical issues happening in Liberia, especially with the issue about the Oranto and the Total Energy deal. That today, lately today, we saw the Senate, signing or approving that, and which Liberians have been raising concern about this whole deal as to whether this deal is beneficial to the Liberian people and all of that. So why say you on this? And considering the fact that our political leader, Honorable Musa Hassan Belete, have consistently criticized this deal and always been saying in the public that this deal is not in the interest of the Liberian people. So let's talk to you, sir. Why say you?
Look, I'm deeply troubled how this deal originated and how it was ratified in the national legislature. I understand the sector very well. I was minister under President Taylor when we created the NOCAL Act of 2000 and also Children Law of 2002, and then the subsequent modifications and amendments that were made, I believe, in 2014. Okay, look, Orento came into this country in 2004 and got a negotiated settlement, a negotiated award of blocks number 11, 12, and 14. Okay, he didn't have the money to pay for the seismic data that was being housed in TGS NOPEC in Houston, Texas. He wrote a check for $10,000. That check bounced. But once he got the award, he went to Luke Oil in Russia, and he made some deal with them, and he got the money to pay for the seismic data. And then, of course, subsequently in 2007, as you all know, those oil blocks 11, 12, and 14 were flipped, already farmed in. And farming is a technical terminology, meaning that you bring in a strategic partner, a technical or financial partner, so they brought in Chevron. If you were to Google the Orento deal of 2007, the process accompanying the ratification, pro-Publica and American publication found out systemic corruption in that award and the ratification, that NOCAL paid lawmakers to ratify that. And Orento made over $200 million in that deal, and state maintained 30% of equity in those three oil blocks. He did not pay capital gains tax, and up to this time, this current agreement did not even require him to pay the capital gains tax. Mr. Arthur E.Z. Orento don't have the technical or financial capability to do any ultra deep water drilling. There are only about 7 companies globally that have the technical capacity to do that. So clearly, this is a sweetheart deal that has been manipulated by the executive to give away our oil block, and for Mr. Arthur E.Z. to further enrich himself. So this is a tragedy for the country, a tragedy for the future of the country, and I mean, this is grossly undermining the very sustainable development of our country. So this is very tragic, extremely tragic for our country.
Okay. So, Mr. Jackson, I know panelists in studio will have questions, but let me start with myself first, because there are a few other things that I want us to look at before going to Mr. Nangwe. The first thing is that if you look at the petroleum law, that the act that established the petroleum law within Liberia, it provides that you cannot sign an agreement over 7 years, and a petroleum agreement should be 7 years or below 7 years. And today, what we saw, Orlando deal was being given 10 years, that which violated the act that established the petroleum law within Liberia. And secondly, if you look at the signature bonus, which is 27 million, the 27 million signature bonus. And the petroleum law also provides that signature bonus should be provided 30 days from the ratification of the deal. And now what we saw today, they gave 4 years to Orlando due to be able to give in installment the signature due that's supposed to go to the consolidated account of the Liberian government. Why say you on those two different violation of the law that established the petroleum?
Clearly, this is an embarrassment for the country of Liberia and for the people of the country. But and this is repayment of campaign debts to Mr. Easy for supporting the campaign of Mr. Boycott in 2023. There is no way on planet Earth that a company that does not have the technical and financial capability, right, and they will go and contravene the laws of the country, okay, giving him a petroleum agreement for more than the statutory 7 years, and also allow him to pay the signing bonus piecemeal over a long period of time and based on certain conditionalities, right? So this is tragic, and I concur with our political leader on that this deal is fraudulent, and this deal should have been resisted. But unfortunately for this country, money talk, and you know what walks, right? So the Senate, I think we believe it was like 20 to 10 or 21 to 9. I'm not sure what the arrangement was that, but there were a few good people who opposed the deal. Thank God for my senators and representatives, Senator Jimon Smith and Senator, what's his name? The other gentleman, forgot his name. What's the other senator from River's name? Oh my God, Bill Twawe.
Bill Twawe.
Amara Coney also voted it down, and Senator Natalia McGill voted it down, and others did. So that is where we are. It is very tragic. The Unity Party, historically, as you know, in the first 12 years of the post-war administration, they gave out 66 concession agreements, and 64 of those were fraudulent. Okay, they did not abide by Liberian laws. This is just a rewinding of Liberia by Mr. Arthur Z. and Orento coming back and basically stealing our resources. And they did not even have the good sense to even put conditionalities in there that in case he did not do any drilling, and if he flip it, so he would be penalized by some degree of taxation, a high degree of taxation. There was nothing put in there to give him any degree of scheduling of activities to commit. There was no demand to show proof of funds, his ability. There was no demand to prove technical ability. None of that. It's clearly a sweetheart deal. Mm-hmm. But post-war, we have seen a lot of these sweetheart deals, and these deals continue to obstruct the sustainable development of the country. Liberia is, depending on which research or metric you use, either the 4th or the 8th poorest country on the planet. 70% of people that live in Monrovia and other urban centers live in slums, environmental degradation, abject poverty, school system that, it's subpar. You have a lot of issues of school completion rates. Okay, primary enrollment rates are way below the sub-Saharan average, and STEM education is poor. Liberia has one of the highest degree of informality on the planet, where 80.9% of the workforce in the informal sector, and in agriculture, 65% of the women in doing subsistence, 65% of the people doing subsistence farming are women. Mm. So Liberia continues to be poor, not because Liberia is a poor country, but Liberia is poorly managed. If you look at the advent of the open door policy with President Tubman, where they have this model of granting out concessions with little or no linkages to the rest of the economy, it can give you some economic growth numbers, but those economic growth numbers, the composition of income accrues to only a minute portion of the population. And this is something that we should be struggling and fighting hard to prevent this willy-nilly banjoing of our resources.
Mm. All right, thank you. So before we go lastly to Mr. Nangwe, I just want to we have had a lot of different opinion in the public, especially Liberian, raising concern about how things are, how those different deals are, and all of that. But one of the major concern of the Liberian people, it has to do with I don't know if I'm using the exact word, but before a concession company, before that agreement can be ratified or before the agreement can be reached, they should present a prototype. If I'm not using the right word, they should present a prototype. That means they should present to the Liberian people the technical, aspect of, or whether they have the technical capacity to do what they want to do in Liberia, to explore our resources. And then the Oranto deal presented that they have been doing, technical exploration within Guinea-Bissau And when that was being found out, it turned out to be a lie. They have not been doing any other.
It was patently false.
Yeah, it was
Rental does not have the technical and financial capability to do any ultra deep drilling. This is a sweetheart deal meant to enrich Mr. Arthur Eze as compensation for his support, financial support to the election of President Joseph Nyeman Boyka. Plain and simple, And I've kept my silence on this matter, and I was hoping that civil society, political parties, and other stakeholders in the country would join together and say something about it, but they didn't say anything about it. And I cannot be the only one always being the loudmouth and to always condemn concession agreements like I did with El Nito, like I did with civil mining and other deals. I'm advancing in age now, and I was hoping that Liberian civil society and members of the legislature would have combined forces, and at least, if they could not resist this deal, at least try to amend it in a way that would benefit the people of the country by putting in conditionalities to ensure that Mr. Arthur Eze would abide by the laws of the country, that he would bring in a technical and financial partner, and that there would be local content where if he were to farm in and make substantial amount of money, at least he will be sharing it with some Liberian company, some Liberian entity, or doing some major social development work for the people of Liberia. But unfortunately, legislature fail the people, and that's just the way it is. In the post-war period, we have seen no economic equity for the people of Liberia.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Number One, we are coming to you now, and you can also, what in your question, you can also include the global chair that Francine Chinonwe Richardson. She's asking a question within the comment section. You could also read that out to Mr. Jackson, so he can respond to that, maybe in your closing statement. But let's bring you on, Mr. Namwe.
Well, thank you very much, and let me thank you, Mr. Jackson, for staying up this late. I know it's pretty late in Monrovia. Simply because you wanted to help us and help our people unpack what is happening. So thank you very much. I'll begin with the global chair's question. Dr. Richardson is not on with us tonight, but she had a question. She wants to know whether you recommend that we change our way of contracting or negotiating with concessionaire. It appears that these deals are not in the interest of our people. I think she's going back to the 66 of the 68 from the same UP government of 12 years ago. Apparently, they haven't changed their ways. So go ahead.
The NoCal Act of 2000 is very clear that 20% of oil blocks must go to the state, and then the state will find a way to divvy it out to the population. And they haven't been done under the French UP administration. It is not being done now. In the Petroleum Act of 2002, all contracts, $3 million or less, in terms of if you're going to start drilling, you have a lot of work that has to be done. You have to provide services to the oil company. You have to provide water. You have to provide food. You have to provide technical support. Those are all what we call linkages. Okay, and all of those agreements did not abide by the NoCal Act of 2000, the Petroleum Law of 2002, and then the subsequent amendments, I believe, in 2014, which created the Liberian Petroleum Regulatory Authority, where it made a NoCal an independent oil company and the LPRA as a regulator, right? Like I said before, the old model of concession, where we just grant concessions willy-nilly without significant Liberian equity participation and with all conditionalities for local content, for Liberia, for things to be processed here. For example, with the iron ore, to make steel ingots, for example, those kinds of things. So the old model of concession has not exported sustainable economic development and broad prosperity to Liberia. So then we should begin to have a dialogue on what has worked in other countries. We have to look at countries' case studies. We have to look at Botswana, for example, where all diamonds produced in the country are owned by the state, and there is sufficient beneficiation of that diamond in the cutting and polishing of that. We have to look at in terms of our gold resources, where $900 million of gold was exported out of Liberia last year. And if you look at King George, okay, in Grand Cape Mountain County, there's no way that anybody can look at King George and say $900 million of gold was exported out of King George. That's it. So we have to have a national conversation, and that national conversation should be about how do we remodel and shift the paradigm of concessions to make sure that we have sustainable development. And bear in mind that these are non-renewable resources. Some of us, including me, especially me, will not be alive 40 years from now. But there'll be a country called Liberia 40 years from now. And these resources will be exhausted. What will replace the economic, what will replace them in the economy? We are not doing anything about sustainability. We're not doing anything about Liberian economic empowerment. We're not doing anything about domesticating the revenues of those mines into Liberia. $900 million worth of gold was exported out of Liberia last year. Yet, okay, not even 5% of that money was domesticated in Liberian banks to act for domestic capital formation for re-lending to Liberian micro, small, and medium enterprises for economic development to create jobs, to create a value chain for agro-processing, for manufacturing, for tourism development, for all kinds of development across the various sectors. So that is kind of sad. And so we have to start demanding, for example, export proceeds surrender. Between 25 to 50% of export proceeds must be repatriated and put into Liberian banks. Those are the kind of conversation we should be having, and those are the kind of things that our political leader, Musa Bildi, those are his vision. And we are working on a lot of economic policies that will be putting out there in the public soon. We're having conversations with experts in and out of Liberia on how or where we stand based upon the vision of our political leader. But his vision is very clear that Liberians must participate in the development and in the export and the exploitation of Liberian resources.
All right. So, Mr. Lamwin, let's hear from you again.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. And I just want to hear your thought on this. I was just looking at the latest Liberia Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative 16th report. They're reporting $1.35 billion in revenue generated last year. You alluded to some of that, the gold, the diamond, all of that.
We see that one of the things is that I'm quoting from the central bank. Okay, the central bank is the national authority for me as an economist, right? They reported in the year 2024 annual report that $894.6 million, and I just rounded up $900 billion. The Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative has a different figure. And if you look at a lot of economic metrics, you see the World Bank will have one set of figures, the IMF has one set of figures, our national authorities will have one set of figures. One of the things that we need to do is to crystallize and put into place an authoritative national statistical. Legis is not doing a good job. This is going to be the job of Legis. But Legis need to be capacitated so we can know for sure issues of inflation, for example, issues of unemployment, for example, issues of issues of exports. Because you see, Letty gave you one figure of 1.3 billion, and then the Central Bank of Liberia is giving another figure. So there's an anomaly with the figures.
Gotcha.
So I am aware of the LETI figure, but I'm using our national authority. So
Okay.
LETI is a national authority, but the more authoritative should be the central bank or the Ministry of Finance and Development or the Liberian Institute of Geoinformation Services.
Got you. So then, going with that source, your source, because I was going to go to the latest source, they are reporting about $152 million taken in by the government from all of the revenue generated. What is the National Bank reporting? Do you have that? You have a finger on that, or?
The central bank basically gave you the gross export figures, and it doesn't give you the LRA component in terms of the compensation. But you can look at, you can look at taxes or international trade in the in last year's budget, and see what the composition of that was, and I don't know whether it was granular to the point where they will give you the exact figures that came from, for example, gold exports or annual exports. But they just gave us gross figures in terms of international trade, which would mean imports and exports. So we need to have a statistical reference where we do much more macroscopic analysis of the data.
Sam P. Jackson, thank you very much. Before you leave, Dr. Dr. Richardson wanted to know if you have any idea of how the Niba County Senator Yatwayan voted on this matter. Apparently, he's been pretty vocal against the passage of this bill.
I heard, and I cannot confirm, but I heard that he was vocal, but he voted yes, but I'm not sure. So, please, I'm just saying this from what I saw in the chat room. So please don't. But that's what I'm hearing from that's from the street. So I know he was very vocal, but I heard some people expressing disappointment. So I don't know what their voting looked like, where he specifically voted. But I'm hearing from unofficial sources that he voted for the agreement.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much.
Mr. Jackson, before we leave you, Mr. Nambo, thanks for the question, and Dr. Richardson, thanks for the question in the comment section as well. But let's have your parting comment on this. What final message can you leave with the viewer regarding the Oranto and the Total Energy deal?
Look, Rich Land, Poor Country. I wrote a book when I was suffering from cancer and laying bed for 3 years. And that book did an analysis on the vast resources we have in terms of mineral resources, potential oil resources, forest resources, ocean resources, and just the magnificence of the 43 square miles of land that God is giving us. We have so much to give. We are very close to markets. The proximity is like 7.5 hours to New York, about 6.5 hours to Paris. Okay. About 5 to 7 days to Europe in terms of on a ship and all of that. Liberia has very close proximity to the markets. We need to fix this country in a way that will be fully integrated into the global financial system. We have to fix the financial architecture. We have to fix the regulatory framework so we can attract not just foreign direct investments for extractive industry, but we can do things like financial services, we can do insurance, we can do large-scale agriculture, all of that. And we can only do that if we come together and rebrand Liberia. Liberia does not attract the quantum of foreign direct investments that it deserves because of corruption, because of malfeasance, misfeasance, and mismanagement. So we need to do something about that. And that is the reason why I believe our political leader, Musa Hassan Bility, has the vision and is building a team and is building a big tent to bring Liberians who are patriotic, that want to be united for one cause. It is not about CDC, it is not about UP, it is about Liberia. And we will continue to build that tent, we'll continue to support that process, and we will hopefully get together. And now even when we are not in power, at least contribute to the public dialogue to fix some of the issues that continue to make us poor. So that's where I stand in this matter. Thank you so much for inviting me. I thank you, Mr. Namwe. I thank you, Dr. Richardson. And when I get settled in about a week or so, I'll give you a definitive time where I will be live on the shore, where I can be expressing my opinion and we can have a dialogue. CMC doesn't have all the answers to the questions, to all the development questions of Liberia. All we're doing is to start a conversation, a kitchen table conversation with Liberians as family to make a determination how this family manages its budget, how this family sends its children to school, how this family creates jobs for people within its family, and how this family becomes prosperous. This family is called Liberia. We are all part of that family, the Liberian family. And thank you all for inviting me, and let God bless you, and God save the state.
Thank you so much. And so, folks, you just listened to Mr. Samuel Jackson, a prosperous Liberian, a Liberian who believe that, Liberia need to move forward. Someone who have recommended to, central government, somebody who have worked with government in past and making sure that his presence is felt in Liberia and all of that. So that's a good thing. And you just listening to him giving an analysis on the Oranto deal. He first started with the ruling of the Supreme Court today on the writ of prohibition filed by the former finance minister Samuel Tue, and he also came down on the Oranto deal as well, and he explained to the Liberian people why this deal is not for the interest, or it is not in the interest of the ordinary Liberians. This is just about how the government intend to raise money to fund their so-called 1.2 billion United States dollar budget. But Mr. Nangwe, it's good to be here. But I don't know if we are on the radio in Liberia. I don't know if we are on the radio. If Ansu and Henry are in the back, they can come on. We want to, entertain calls from, the viewers to see what their perspective are, especially with the explanation provided by Mr. Jackson. What's their take, and everything. But if they are back there, they can just come on. Then we can go on with that. But while we are waiting, it's a good thing to talk about. This time around, we're going to talk about. This time around, we're going to reconcile the consistent stand of the PL with the different things like we've been saying today, or the different thing we saw in Liberia today about this Oranto deal. As you may be aware, when this Oranto deal was in the House of Representatives, the political leader on Musa Hassan Bede voted against it, and he did not just vote against it, but he provided his votes. He made his vote public, very public to the Liberian people. And, Liberian people saw that. And he also provided reason why he did not vote for this Oranto and Total Energy deal. And I think it's good that, we open the telephone line and listening to you Liberians, you be the judge, listening to, as we are listening to the PL recently about his decision as Oranto deal and what we saw today and with the information Mr. Jackson provided. But while we are waiting Ansu and Henry to come on, Mr. Nangwe, let's bring you on. How do you reconcile the consistent stand of the PL against the Oranto deal with what we saw today and moving forward in the future for Liberia?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is not rocket science, Winston, and you don't even have to be an economist to understand the issues. And the good thing is, almost everyone who has spoken out against this Oranto deal is practically saying the same thing. Mr. Jackson here, we all know he knows what he's talking about. He has served in government. He was a minister in government, so he had the practical experience. And then, he's a student of economics. He knows what he's talking about. If you don't want to take it from him, then go to your former Minister of Finance, Amara Kone. Amara Kone is also on record. And then, Musa Hassan Belete, he is not just a lawmaker. He's a businessman. This is what he does for a living. So he knows a good deal when he sees one. And these are some of the points they're making. And Sam made some of them here. One, this Oranto, is a fellow he has no demonstrated capacity to do what he's pledging to do. He doesn't have the experience he's claiming. He doesn't have the back the financial experience, or he does. I mean, the financial wherewithal. He's collateralizing another entity's a financial standing. Uh, you know, to come here and use it to hustle around. Uh, I mean, if you don't want to take that from me, go to the sign-on bonus. The signing bonus is spreading that. He's making profit, man, on it. One of the rescue people, I believe, described this as a sepe. What they call in Liberia. You go and take the goods from the store. And then when you sell, you go and pay. He doesn't have the capacity. Not only that, this guy has a track record in our country. How is it that even a man like of his reputation, his character, is allowed to even come in a space to compete? How? I mean, except it is he recognized, that his buddies, like Mr. Jackson said, his buddies he finalized during their camping or not, the same guys, he was palling around with 12 or 14 years ago, they are back in the executive mansion. And that's why emboldened him to come back. And he knew what he was betting on, and he's about to reap. This man came here as reported he spent $200,000 and made upwards of $200 million on our backs. You understand me? And where are we? We're still crying over the University of Liberia without money to paint the building. The mall is consuming the entire campus, no bathrooms, and that's a country that gives someone $200 million. I understand some of the people who worked for him when he was here the last night. He still owes those people. He hasn't paid them, and he's back again. How is it that we even entertain this man bidding in the process? How? And then not only that, it would claim ignorance. A lot of people who know this stuff and who know this guy have sounded a warning. But no, we're not going to listen. We're going to vote. Why? Because the Christmas envelopes have to roll. Instant gratification is what most of our guys are living on. They want it now and now, and they wanted it yesterday. And so this guy is back in the space, and is being speculated. He's just here to flip. He would take this thing and take it on the international exchange or wherever, and find buyers and sell it and move on. And then what do we have? We're left with an empty bag. So I think those are the point that Mr. Jackson is making. Mr. Senator Connor made the points also. And how is it that the people who are voting on this, I mean, these are people who claim to be educated people. How is it that, first of all, they will require, someone to come and tell them this is not a good deal? But not only that, after they've told them this is not a good deal, and they're still going to go ahead and vote for it, And so, I hope in the next, in the coming days, some of them will come out and explain, if they ever do, because they never do that. Our people, they never do that. But hopefully they will come and explain the rationale for their vote. But, for what we want to congratulate the political leader of the CMC for tirelessly highlighting the issues our people need to know. Our people need to know what is hurting us and why we are the way we are. Why our country is we're behind every country. Every country in the world, we are behind them. If you think this country is backward, then you look behind it, you'll find Liberia there. And that's only because of the kind of decisions we're making. We this is all about self. What am I getting now? What am I getting now? What am I getting now? And so, yeah, I will continue to highlight these bad decisions, this bad judgment call that these people are making. And as we go towards 2029, we hope our people will remember who got them in the situation they're in. And we're betting our people are not going to we're not going to return these people, and they know that. Maybe that's why they're behaving the way they are, because they know they're on their way out. But I'll pass it back to you. I want to thank Mr. Jackson for coming on. I know others are listening. I thank Dr. Richardson also, even though she told her she's off. I told her to take a break. I don't know why AB didn't take her phone away from her, but she's going to be busy and typing. But thank you, Doc, for the comments and the questions you put in there. We appreciate your presence. We enjoy you being with us. Thank you very much. Let's have a good time, Wisdom.
Thank you, Mr. Namret, and thanks for all of the points you have raised already. So before I come in with my point, I just shared something in the chat room from the library investigator, and right under there on the Oronto petroleum deal, you see squandering opportunity. Bapolu County Senator Amara M. Corner accused the Liberian Senate on Thursday of sacrificing legal standard and long-term national interest by ratifying the Oronto petroleum deal, calling the decision a squander chance to enforce credibility and discipline in Liberia petroleum sector. Now, with what you saw there on the newspaper, now the petroleum law in Liberia, the petroleum law, in fact, it established that a petroleum agreement cannot exceed 7 years. But in the case of Oronto deal, in the case of Oronto petroleum, agreement, the Liberian, the House of Legislature decided to give 10 years to them, 10 years in operation, because you got to renew your license every 7 years. That's why the petroleum law says you renew your license every 7 years. But Oronto deal is they're going to renew that license after 10 years. This is the first thing. And secondly, the petroleum law also provides that signature bonus should be paid 30 days after the ratification of the agreement.
Right.
But in the case of Oronto deal, the signature bonus is going to be paid in 4 years in different installments. I don't know how they arrange it. The 27 million is going to be paid in 4 years in the consolidated government account. So why are we sacrificing our legal standard and public interest only because we want to gain credibility for this 1.2 billion budget? I think this is wrong for our country. This is a really sad time for our country. But one thing I want to say on this is that, Mr. Nangwe, what most of the time I'm always blaming the electorates in Liberia when it comes to this kind of decision and all of that, because at the end of the day, we will complain, we will support these people. Some of us, we will even allow ourselves to be trucked from our county to another main county, somewhere that we don't even know our way around. We have not even lived with the person. We don't understand the present, judgment in making decision and all of that. We will be trucked for $20. We will mortgage our future, the futures of our children, and the future of our country. Will mortgage it for $20. We'll get on car, we'll go in another main county and vote for these people. When we vote for those people, when they have the power now to represent us, they will misuse the power in their self-interest. And then at the end of the day, we'll take phone and be calling on the radio, the abandoned youth of this place, and we give ourselves all such a name. After we have allowed our future to be mortgaged, we have allowed ourselves to be trucked by these people just to put them in power. But I think Liberian people should learn from this. This Oronto deal, I think Liberian people should learn from it, because there are a lot of missteps. We're sacrificing our principle. We sacrificing our legal standard as a country just to certify somebody, just to make sure that this agreement is signed. And with all of the different misinformation provided, Oronto deal said they have been, they have the technical capacity, they've been operating in Guinea-Bissau. And when that was being found out, it has been a lie. They have not even operated anywhere else. They don't have the technical capacity. The only thing they did is that they presented a commitment note. They present a commitment operational note that we're going to perform to so level. Why are we mortgaging our country? So this is a sad time for Liberia, and I think this whole 1.2 billion, this government is willing to go at any level to make sure that this budget, there is money raised for this budget. They don't care about whatever way the money is going to be raised, but they just want to raise the money. And for me to end on this, I just want to go back to the decision of the PL. I think, like I said, history will judge us. You still have people who writing our history. You got people who recalling critical decision, especially this Oronto deal is a critical, There will be critical historical analysis about it, and people going to learn on this. This is going to go down in our history in this 1.2 billion budget. So in this range of this 1.2 billion budget and this Orlando due and everything, decision of people will reflect in our history. And I just want to appreciate the PL on Musa Hassan Belete for having a mind for the Liberian people, standing tall and making sure that all his decision in the House of Representatives, all his decision reflect the lives of the people he represents. This is a man who stood tall and told the Liberian people that I am not going to vote for this Orlando deal because I think this Orlando deal is not in the interest of the Liberian people. And he made it vote very clear, regardless of the numbers, regardless of how many people agree. But as a matter of fact, he stood on his ground and made it vote clear. And there are a lot of people we have followed. They have been very vocal about this, concession agreement in Liberia and all of that. But at the end of the day, all of them bow down to signing this Orlando deal. This is bad for our country, and I think these things should not be happening. The future of our young people in Liberia should not be mortgaged, and this kind of long-time Buka concession agreement is going to go a long way for our country. And I think we should not, compromise our legal standard of our country to certify an individual or to certify, to gain, public sentiment. So I just want to stop there. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but if not, then we'll go to our next point of discussion, and then we will call it a night. We left with 22 more minutes because we'll be leaving from 3 o'clock. We'll be leaving. I don't know. Is that the exact time I'm calling?
No, I think we have another 52 minutes or so. We leave at 8:30. Is now 7:39. So we have what do we have left? 50 minutes. But I mean, we can always, when we can't carry on any further, we shut it down. But that's the time, 6:30 to 8:30. But you make a good point about the rationale, for instance, for the sign-on bonus, right? Look, what our people say about Christmas and Christmas Eve, right? If the Christmas will be good, you can tell by the Eve, right? This is an entity that is claiming, right, to have the financial strength to undertake a major project, right? This is like, you live in your house and you have a little cassava patch beside your house, cassava farm, and your next door neighbor lives in the sky, in a 5-story house, right? Rotten rich. And your roof is leaking. You're telling him, look, I need to patch my roof. So I don't have the money. I want to sell my farm to you, and my farm is worth, maybe $250. You need that money badly to patch your roof, and stop the leak. And this person who is always driving around in a Mercedes Benz and all of that, they tell you, well, I will buy it off your hand. Well, I will give you $20, every 3 months or so. This is what we have been negotiating here. We're in a country that is bleeding. Women are crushing rocks to send their children to school. People are not paid for months, and you're coming to sign an entity, to a major contract. They don't even have the first, sign-up bonus to front you and take care of some of your immediate, immediate and pressing needs. Yeah, they got to pay you in installments. Doesn't that say something to you about the capacity of this company? How is that not obvious to our people who are making the decision? How is that not obvious? Don't they know, or they don't care, or both? They don't know and they don't care. It is obvious, and people who are supposed to know this are already telling you that this is a red flag. This is not supposed to be happening. But here we are. We're going ahead. Not only that, we're signing on to a term that far exceeds what the law prescribes. 7 years to 10 years. Is it that this this entity is aware that when this government leaves, the other government that will come in would renegotiate this contract and probably void it. I don't know. Mr. Jackson, he didn't have a chance. He didn't speak to this. Dr. Richardson wanted to know whether we could change our laws, but I also wanted to know, whether this is it, whether there's nothing that could be done. And I really think any government that comes in, I think it reserves the right. If they think that the law was illegally, arrived at, or the decision, the contract, I think they should void it. They should renegotiate it and make it suitable to our people. We're hearing that the speaker has been conducting sessions, without a quorum. And I think our people should pay attention to this. If this deal was passed through the House without a quorum, there might be reason there to bring it back, and retake a look at it. But these are questions that we are asking. How is it our people can be so heartless, lack of compassion? Is it just sufficient for them to ride beautiful cars? They feel good about themselves. They go to bed and sleep well, knowing that they struck a deal that stinks, that will leave a lot of people, deprived. And like Mr. Jackson said, most of us will not be around. Some of these deals, for the effect of these deals to be felt, because some of these minerals that these people are signing them onto, they're finite. They're not renewable. Go to Bombay Hills. They call it Bombay Hills now. That was once a bustling, thriving, mining area. So much activity, but right now you go, it's a ghost. These big holes are there. I went there. They have one of the holes, I think, blue water or something like that. Dr. Richardson said here the other day what's happening in bone mines. I also remember visiting bone mines back in the day. And this is what's going to happen. So you want to make sure the royalty, whatever it is that you're getting from signing away our natural resources, is going to benefit the people, so that you can make them whole for the loss that we'll be experiencing as a result of negotiating away our natural resources. How is that so difficult? Or are we just blinded by the brown envelopes? I don't know, Winston. I mean, you're a young man. Young people are smarter than, in most cases, than, us, the old people. So I'll pass it back to you. But this is our reality. Such is our situation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nambi, and thanks for your point. I just want to give my live statement on this, and then from there we'll go to CMC News. I know
Okay.
we got to talk about some of the amazing things CMC is doing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I like the way you can always say CMC.
CMC.
Originally, I've tried so many
laughing. I know she's laughing somewhere.
like you. Yeah, I've tried so many times to sound like you, the global chef. I've tried so many times to sound like you.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. We'll work you in.
Yeah. So I just want to give my parting comment, and we can go to the CMC News. We got to talk about our political party and some of the things our political party are doing. So one thing I took away tonight from Mr. Jackson is that Mr. Jackson, he made it very clear that so some of the time it's not just about political party. It's not about CMC. We understand that we have been very consistent. We have been very consistent, and we've been putting the government feet to fire, making sure that government can rethink that decision. But this time around, it's not just about CMC as a political party, but it's also civil organization, or advocates, organization for all of us to join together and be able to hold the government accountable. These are issues that country can protest for. We've been seeing other countries protesting for issues of such. When the future of the country is being mortgaged, when the future of the young people that they claim to be the future leader of the country, when their future is being mortgaged, it warrant protest that Liberians, we need to come together, civil actors, civil society actors, political party, activists, or all of us need to come together to be able to protect the image of our country. You don't need a rocket scientist or you don't need an expert to tell you that this deal is not a good deal for Liberia. If you look at what even Senator Albert Chia said, it is not even something to debate about. The Orlando deal was not something to debate about. It's a bad deal for Liberia. And Senator Chia is not the only person who said that. You also have Senator Amar Conan, who also made it clear. Senator Amar Conan, who also made it clear that this deal was not the best deal for Liberia. So you have senators, you have people who supported even this government. They are saying void of politics, void of being sided with a political party. It is about time that we put Liberia first. It is about time that we go into concession agreement, or we ratify agreement that reflect the living standard of the people that we want to see. But it is about time that Liberians will put our hands together and protest for some of these things. We understand that the police department has been used now they have just been consistently used now to go against peaceful protesters and all of that. But we don't have to give up, because our country is being mortgaged. The future of the young people, the future of our children, our brothers and sisters, is on the line. So we gotta stand on our feet as a country. We can't keep allowing government to keep playing our face like that. This is a 10 years. It is a 10 years agreement. The hearing, violated. The INO, the IDA established the petroleum and law within Liberia. 7 years. You have to renew your lesson, your operation lesson. But they extended it to 10 years. And this 10 years is not just going to be in United Party regime. 2029 is coming. Different political parties, people doing their best. Anybody can win 2029 election. It's an open opportunity for anyone. So when the new government comes to power, that new government will still have to be faced with the agreement that the people signing today. So it's something that we have to stand against it. We have to be very focused about to make sure that government feet are to fire. And somebody also said that they are also looking up to the executive, even though they accept that the agreement is not a good agreement for Liberia, but they're looking up to the executive for the executive to see what do you think the executive is going to do? The agreement came from the executive. It went to the House of Representatives. From the House of Representatives, it went to the senator. So this already it is the prayer. It has been the prayer of the executive that we want the House of Representatives to agree, the House of Senate agree, and then we can just pass it into law.
Yeah, so those who are waiting for the executive.
I believe that the executive is not going to do anything.
No, good luck with them. Those who are waiting for the executive to turn this around. How many times do you see the vice president? We know he's the president of the Senate, but not very often do you see him go to sit, and preside over the passage of a vote. That's because this is of significant interest to the executive. You want to make sure, he will look his man in the eyeball and say, "My man, you ready to come and vote against this thing?" Of course, we understand all of these are all tactics. You want to intimidate people, but you said something about, all of us joining our voices. I think this is important. Yes, the CMC, we have an indefatigable, young, very restless, political leader, but we're stronger together, and I join you and I agree. I think, our colleagues in the opposition, they need to, they need to wake up. Some of them are trying, but I think they need to try a little harder. We need to sound this out together. I think it will make it more powerful. Not that we're now, making an impact, but again, we'll reinforce each other. I don't think it's sufficient. You heard Sam Jackson saying, he's getting tired of being a lone voice, and I understand. Sam Jackson, from the days of Progressive Alliance of Liberia, he's been on it. He's my UPP fellow, and then he left and supported the CDC, which, of course, my former chairman, Gary Matthews, did. He supported Joshua. So I get that. But the point is, advocacy is supposed to be, an innate. It's supposed to be second. It's supposed to be natural to all of us. Whether you're in government or not, you should when you see something that is not right, you should be able to speak out, especially those of us in the opposition. I think we need to really wake up and find our voices and begin, to take a stand against these things, because we also have some members of parliament who also come from the opposition community. Boy Charles Subway, for instance, he was elected on the CPP ticket. There are a number of them in there. I think they can together, I hope somehow they will form some kind of caucus, and collectively advocate for some of these issues. But yeah, so they need to, with the opposition community, we really need to come out, civil society organizations. I don't think, it should wouldn't be when Stan wants to come out, and then, you don't always have to come out, but yeah, you should come out when you can. It's part of your democratically protected right. You should come out and protest your government. And then this is why I joined those. I joined, you said that earlier. The level of heavy handedness that we saw yesterday, we think that's uncalled for. That's not necessary. I saw the CDC release today calling on the government. I think some people were arrested. Calling on the government to release those people. Yeah, I think there are reports of some vandalism. Yeah, you can investigate that. We get it. But I think the force that was being applied, I'm not sure if it equal, to the transgression that was being reported. But people have the right to come in the streets and protest the government peacefully. I mean, that's part of democracy. And I've always said here, our people, we have no idea how much power we have. We can occupy the Capitol building. We can do sit-ins. There are lots of different ways we can protest. To make our dissatisfaction known. You know, this budget, it shouldn't have been allowed to pass, and I would be interested to see. We haven't talked about that yet. We're still talking about the various contract, but I'm really confused as to why Senator Connor had to vote for this budget, for instance. And I think he owes an explanation to the very people who he was advocating for, because we feel like he left us standing. I don't know whatever they promised him, but he seemed to have, and these are the kind of things I think people should demand answers for. I think you should come and explain to us what happened. You kind of whet our appetite, and now you flip on us. So we need to understand this. But yeah, our opposition community, I will end and pass it on to you. We need to come together. We need to join voices. Like you said, and I agree, we're stronger together. If we are advocating in a chorus of voices united, I think we will be more impactful than one individual, pushing against the wind. I think, and thanks to the CMC, we're tireless. We'll continue to advocate for our people. And we know our people, the people who are in authority now, they're listening. We see their reaction. So sometimes you see them trying to react to what we are doing. Our projects and all of that, we know what they're doing. They're chasing us around the country, which is good. At the end of the day, our people are benefiting. I think that's what we want. So if that's how our people will be, we'll get the progress they deserve, then, that's fine until 2029. When we come in and begin to turn things around, and have development done right, the CMC way. So again, CMC, we move.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know that Origin is going to be laughing, especially with the way she have tried to copy exactly the way you can say CMC. But it's a good thing. Like you
Uh-oh.
said, it's a really good thing. And I'm trying to. I just lay my hand on the video for the. I'll just lay my hand on the video, and it's in preparation, so we can play the video to the librarian people to
Okay.
see
Why you
who
talking
all
with
voted.
Doc is in the back? I don't know whether she can bring herself on or you can bring her on, but Dr. Richardson just entered the studio. Can you see her?
No, I cannot do that. I don't have the.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If she's
So
mute, when she turns her camera on and mute, she's ready. I'll bring her on.
all right. So I was saying that I really getting this video ready, and I hope and pray that we can play this video. It's a 3-minute video
Okay.
in the voting process for the Oranto deal. Let's see the faces of those who voted in the House of Senate today for this Oronto ratification, so we can see it and see their faces. And then from there, we'll close up on the CMC news. You know,
Okay.
Mr. Nangwe, like you said, CMC, we've been very tireless about this whole thing in Liberia. This is why you even saw a press release from the CNC political party, you know, calling on the Liberian people to stand against the creation of new 14 districts in
Yeah.
Liberia. And you saw that press release. And CNC is very clear. We're very clear about our stand. You know, we are a well-composed opposition community. We talk about issues affecting our people. This is why even our political leader have been making a statement very clear, and a decision was very clear, because he wants to be on record and he wants CNC to hold him accountable about the decision he's taking in the house. So, and it's just what it is. You know, the people, the few period of time, they have changing everything around, from, you know, creating additional 14 districts. We already have 73 lawmakers, and those 73 lawmakers will pay a huge sum of money. You know, the allowances and everything. At the end of the day, you know, they are proposing again that in fact, they have already, you know, like one of the lawmakers said today on OKFN. He said they have not made a resolution yet about the creation of district. I think they're trying to backslide that decision, and they're trying to come back on that decision and everything. But it's not really the time for Liberia. Liberia, we already calling on these different lawmakers, these different senators, to reduce their salary and their benefits, so we can be able to have money to be put in the budget for money to be put in the budget for school, for the different, you know, salary they're taking, a huge salary they're taking, for some to be you put you know, in a budget for education purposes, some to be put in a budget for the healthcare system, some should be put in a budget for, you know, women and children protection, some should be put in a budget for, security advancement and everything, road infrastructure and everything that our country is lack of. Because at the end of the day, these different sectors are the critical sectors within our country. So if we cannot, as a political party, as opposition community, if we cannot hold together, if we cannot join the CMC in the struggle or in the fight, CMC is just a lone political party. We alone cannot do it. We need people. We need all political parties. This is not time for election. We'll be talking about election 2028, 2029.
Right.
But at this period is about Liberia, is about the future of our country. This is why you see CMC, we've been very vocal about our stand on the different decisions made by the both houses and the government as well. So we believe this time is not the right time for us to create different districts. The first step we should be taking is for us to have lawmakers agreeing to reduce their salary and benefits. If we have lawmakers reducing their salary and benefits, then we can now go to the second step of maybe creating additional districts. But Mr. Namba, we actually await the video, but yeah. I think CMC we've been very vocal about our stand and how we go about discussing these critical issues that are affecting our country.
Did you send a video to our guys in studio?
No, Dada Richardson has it. I sent it to Dada Richardson.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay.
The guys in studio, I'm trying to get to them, but I'm not getting it. But again, I will ask if you can also put your WhatsApp number up so we can open the line.
Okay.
While we are in conversation, we'll open the line. You can also put your WhatsApp number up. Let's have people, contributing to the show through your WhatsApp. Yeah, so folks, whatsoever you are joining us from, we want to say this is the Political Lodge. You can also follow us on Inside Liberia. You can join us also on YouTube on Political Lodge and follow our conversation. This is the CMC show where we critically, look at some of the different issues that are in Liberia. When the government is doing the right thing for the Liberian people, we're going to appreciate them. We're going to join hands with them. It is not about politics. It's about how can we move our country forward at this point in time. So, when the government is doing well, we're going to appreciate them. We're going to support the government. Right. But this come around, we got to put the government feet to fire. So this is where we come to to analyze the different to make analysis on different issues around Liberia and training issues that are affecting our country to bring it to the attention of the government. So we, Mr. Number, while we are with the video, and I will just I will appreciate if we can recognize some of the viewer within the or some of the comments within the comment section. Maybe you
Okay.
can do that from your end. I'm not
Okay.
seeing everything here.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let me scroll back up a little bit. Let me scroll back up, and we'll start with Jonathan, Jan, then Cian, I believe. So I'm following closely. Uh, Paco King, happy to be here once again. Orito Jones, Orito, thanks for joining us. Good evening. I'm watching you from Saclapia City in Nimba County. Boyman Abraham Quay. I'm following from Chicken Soup Factory, Gulf Community. Let the law be the law. That's Mr. Quay. Chris Boa, watching from Casablanca. That's all the way in Morocco, Casablanca. Thanks for joining us, Chris. Of course, Dr. Richardson has been following. She's been typing busy, and she's on set with us. She's getting ready. And Mohammed Daddy Barry. Good morning. I'm following you live from Douala. Thanks to the CMC. Nonti Sogari, CMC all the way 2029. Thank you, No. And No is also watching from Morocco. Says here, I'm watching from Morocco. Ansu Dugletella, yes, Ansu, it's good to have you here, my friend. Thanks for joining us again tonight. And then that's about it for now from my end, Wisdom.
Yeah, that's the same thing I'm also saying from my end. And again, we just want to say welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all your comment. This is about Liberia. And again, let's say we want to recognize all of our viewers and people who are listening to us via the radio, on the different radio stations. We have been relay, as Mr. Toby make out to understand that we are relay in Bond County. We are on True FM in Nima, in Morovia, and yeah, wherever you're watching us from or you're listening to us from in Liberia, we want to say this is the Political Laws, the CMC show, where we come here to talk about CMC news, and we'll also discuss critical issue within Liberia. So, Mr. Namwe, I think I would love for us to proselytize the conversation a little bit. You know, we will let leave, the Liberian government politics. Now let's talk about CMC as a political party. We've been engaged with a few other things within the country recently, and the CMC. Okay, James Dokwi, he said I'm watching from Bound City, Nima County, District 7. Yeah, that's the district of the political leader.
Yeah.
So I would like for us to go to look at, the CMC news a little bit, even though Mr. Tobe is not available to give us
Right.
some insight. But yeah, you just bring up the speed. You've been following CMC, our different platforms lately. What's your take?
Well, thank you, Wisdom. I mean, we have so much going on. Our projects are in full swing. I think our Quadoboni road construction project is in full swing. I think the political leader indicated. I think there's something he said. I forgot what they were waiting for to start the Joe River Bridge construction. I think the rain or something like that. In Bond County. So that is going on. Several projects are going around the country. We know the high school construction is also about to start in Mongibi County. We know the political leader was supposed to leave the country and go to the Far East, China and other parts. He's trying to bring in some yellow machines, I believe 26 pieces of those are supposed to be coming in to help with, our projects, the roads and bridges. We completed the Yah River Bridge all the way in Nimba. We promised to undertake 4 additional bridges in, I believe, in Bong to connect. Bong is in a central location, so trying to connect Bong to, Nimba and other parts. And so we're working on those. On the political scale, the CMC, we had a retreat that we've been working on. An in-house retreat designed to come together and review our literature and review our processes. Our strategies. That retreat was scheduled to start today. We were supposed to be arriving in Minnesota today, the 18th to the 21st. And then we were going to move on to North Dakota, where a chapter is rapidly emerging, and we were going to go in there and do a town hall with our, CMC members and the general public out there. But that retreat is now being reformatted. We will now do it virtually because of the uptake, the increase in federal activities in Minnesota. We know of the insurance scandal that broke recently, and I think that has put Minnesota in the spotlight. And also, the current president is not a friend of the governor of Minnesota. He has made that very abundantly clear. And so we didn't think we should expose, our party members to unnecessary risk, and so we're exercising, abundance of caution. So we're not going to Minnesota, but we'll be gathering on Saturday. We will be going over, our processes as I indicated. I try to, streamline and push more efficiency. Our recruitment process. Are we hitting targets? We'll be reviewing those. And see how we can, improve our methods. So that we're making progress. And so I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Namwe. So, um, like you said, here in East Africa, we're supposed to be having the sporting tournament in East Africa, and something that we take into account to bring all Liberians in East Africa together for this Christmas break, so we can have some time together where we will talk about the agenda of the CMC. We will have good time together that day, regardless of people political party. We believe that CMC is working across. We want to bring everybody together. We want to have, you know, changes for people and present the manifesto of our party. What the party, intend to do for the Liberian people. And I think all those things help in the numerical growth. But to go to Liberia, the PL visited the bridge within in law play where it's in District 6 anyway. The bridge in law play was visited by the PL last week to review the completion process of the bridge to make sure that the bridge is completed. It's almost at the point of completion. And he visited the other one again in district number 4. There's a bridge that connecting district number 4 to district number 5. Again, he visited that bridge, and they are all expected to be completed. So this is something that we all expect as a country. We believe that farm to market roads, connectivities, building bridges, it ease the transportation, costs. It also ease the transportation. Let's say transportation being time consuming and all of that, because most of the counties, most of the places that bridges have been built by the CMC, they are all strategic location places that people have complained about for time past. And I think the political leader taking the bold step to do some of these things, which it is not even in his district. Someone would say, maybe this guy is doing, the PA is doing this thing in his district, but most of the project he's doing is not even in the district, even though he has done a lot in the district, building bridge over Yara, one of the modern bridges in Liberia right now. But if you look at the few bridges that are about to be delegated, and that will soon be completed, if you look at it, you get to know that most of the bridges are not even in a district. But he's making sure that we have farm to market roads connectivities, because we our people strongly live on agriculture. They are produce from a farm to bring it to the market, sell them, and be able to raise funds to send their children to school, to be able to keep themselves going. So getting those bridge connected or getting those area connected, it means a lot to us. We believe that the people deserve all of that, and even though we are not into We are not in the presidency yet, but we're doing what president's supposed to do. We're doing what the head of state supposed to do. This is what CMC is for. That's why we have become the primary target, and we have become the primary, uh, opposition political party in Liberia. Just barely 1 year to the establishment of this party, we have become political party with dominance in Liberia because we bring it tangible. We're not just talking. We're not just criticizing. We're working. If you look at if you look at the bridge projects, are we ready for the video now, Mr. Namwe?
I'm not sure how this is on the screen. Maybe that's a mistake, but
Okay.
no, I don't think we're ready yet. I think that is in the back. But if you, I wanted to
Yeah,
also.
let me just conclude on this. So, this is what a responsible political party should be doing. We shouldn't just criticize, and this is why we engage with tangible, making sure that breaking ground for schools to places that you have not had school. If you go to my Gibi, we've been breaking ground in my Gibi. We have broke ground in Bon County. Projects are ongoing in Nima. In other places. And the most funny part about it is that
Afro, yes.
all right. And I think the video is getting ready. I think that is the one playing that. So the most funny part about it is that when the people complain, when the people have issue, what to do is that I call the CMC because they know that we're going to give them quick results, quick response. We don't just go around. We don't want to counter power through lies and deception. We want to make sure that the people see the real change we are bringing to the Liberian people. So that's it, Mr. Nangwe. If you have anything to say, you can say it to that. And I think
Yeah,
that is
I thank you, Winston. I also, while we are waiting for the video to come on, I wanted to congratulate the actor Richardson, the global team, most specifically our USA Canada cheerleader. Just this evening, as we were getting ready to come on air, the news broke that Philadelphia, Delaware chapter, has attained that requirement to. I know one person who was watching and will not be happy about this is my brother and friend Mohammed Anzadole. But I know it's all for good fun. It's all in good fun. But we understand our Philly chapter now. And congratulations to Ms. Getru, Jabla Singh, and the team there of Mr. Fuma Turi, Mr. Eric Domer, the group there. We understand Philadelphia Delaware chapter has now met the requirements to officially, be installed as a chapter. We want to congratulate them. And we want to congratulate Madam Vicky Santolo Zulu too. She's bringing a lot of chapters online. We understand the North Dakota chapter is online now. We now have our point people, and they are beginning to quickly rally, and recruit to hit that minimum, threshold to be declared a chapter. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the team. This is yes, and of course, thank you, Doc. Of course, Mas Dapo, she'll let me have it. So, Vice Chair for Administration, Miss Master, yes, North Dakota, Miss Master Dapo Griot. So the team, Didi Shaq Delores, the team, and that I got heard from Mr. Timon Collins today. I guess he will formally announce, but he himself got his letter of appointment as VP for Political Affairs. We want to congratulate him and as well. Tillman is in Liberia right now, but yeah, he and I spoke today, so he'll be calling you Dr. Richardson. Global, he'll be calling you. So I want to congratulate the team. We know this is not going to be easy work, but all of us who have put our energy into this, I mean, I don't know. I know no matter how I try, I will leave out some people, but yeah, my friend, brother here, Ansel Dukle is watching. He and I, we've been building that chapter even before, I left to go to my new assignment. Ansel, thank you very much. Siku Kennedy, SK TV. He's very combative. We all know we all know that. But Siku brings the heat. My brother and friend Jerome Gilman, he's en route right now. He's on his way to LIB. I will be joining him there, my wife and I soon. So Jerome, safe travels, my brother. Take it easy there. I think he's taking his family with him there. So I just want to thank the team. I think we continue to work hard. I think this is what it is all about. Nobody sees, what they say. If you don't want to eat sausage, don't go in the kitchen or whatever that expression is. Yeah, behind the scenes, there's a lot that goes on, but when we come on, we put on the nice, nice and look good and all of that. But, in the background, there's a lot of work going on. So I just wanted to, pat our guys on the back and say thank you very much for continuing, to bring on new people. And I also want to welcome our new friends who joined us. A lot of people joined over the past few days, especially even today. Again, the cheerleader, Global, she put some kind of little sweetener in there. I'm going to talk it, but you put out a challenge, for a target and quickly, man, so she kind of unlocked. She used some kind of little key and unlock, and it's all for the fun, but we're having a good time. So yeah, CMC.
But the challenge, I think the Global also referred that to you. They will be waiting to see what you have to bring on the table in terms of the challenge. The challenge
the other challenge, the dancing challenge. Look, tell Global she ain't ready for me yet. The kind of moves that I can put on. She ain't see the moves. So yeah, we'll do the challenge. That's not a problem. It's all in good fun. We're having fun, man. CMC, this is all we're about. Working and having fun doing it. This is what you hear. All the way back in Kigali is after 3:00 in the morning. And tomorrow is not Saturday. It's another work day. Well, your Friday is already on. I'm sure the daylight might be out now by now. So thank you very much, and thanks to the team also back there that continues to encourage you and support you. Man, one day, man, we'll all smile about this and say, thank God we put out, we got into this. And because of what we're doing here, we think Liberia will be better for it.
Yeah, that's true, Mr. Nanwe. So CMC, we are more like a family, and the good thing about it is that we always share together. We always stand together. We do things together. We do the needful. Yeah. While I think our lifestyle as a CMC is more like an exemplary to the Liberian people. Want to tell the Liberian people what we are capable of doing in terms of uniting the country. After election, we understand that there are a lot of post-electoral differences or trauma that can take place in the country, and most of the political party or most of the people who have had a chance to serve the country, they have not been able to reconcile the country properly. So we CMC as a political party, we have the ability to do so. And it's a good thing for us. So that is, if the video is ready, I'm seeing.
Yeah, I was just about to tell you. She just communicated and said it's ready.
If the video is ready, she can play it. Let's look at the video. Let's see. The video is about who all voted today.
I vote yes to all.
Yes. Vote yes.
Senator and Finley.
Yes. I vote no to all.
Brown.
As long as these important bills were not debated on this floor, I vote no to all.
I vote yes for all.
Vote yes to all. I put you in the committee. That's what you're talking about.
So that's only my opinion.
I vote yes for all.
Yes to all.
I vote yes to all. Yes.
Yes to all.
I vote no to Oriental, the very bad game. And I vote yes to Total.
Senator Wellington G. Smith.
As a coastal land county, whose interest was not in the concession. I vote against or honestly, I'm voting wrong. No. Go to all.
To my chair.
Now, updated meetings. I vote yes.
I vote yes for total and no.
Why is it? Why that is in the rubber that
Section 6, 2/3. All right. All right. So, Mr. Langwood, something when I watched this video, one thing that came to my mind is that with all the connection and the huge presence of the executive in the House of Senate, you saw the number of senators who voted against that bill, including Senator Besson Garfield from Grand Bassa County.
Yeah.
You saw the president of the the executive, the vice president normally don't go for session,
Yeah.
Whenever there are critical ratification of agreement that best aligned with the government interest, you see the vice president will be there. The vice president is being, one of the world seasoned member of the House of Legislature. He knows how to maneuver a way out there. But still in his presence, you saw the numbers of senators who said no to the deal. Most of them did not just say no, but they specify the reason why they are saying no. Most of them who said no, they said this deal is a very bad deal for the Liberian people. So let's have our take on this. I think with the time check from my end, I think we should be ending by 3:30 from my end.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you again, Winston. Yeah, and I'm glad there is receipt to show how people voted. For posterity, people will look at this tape tomorrow and know who were those people who voted in favor of this bad deal. And I want to thank those senators. I think about 9 or 10 of them. Let's see, they're about 30. I think about 20 or 21. Voted for, and so it means 10 or 9 voted against this deal. Congratulations to them. Some of them I know very well. Javon Smith, I know Javon very well. We all, I work for the UPP. He's a young progressive brother, and I'm glad that he's on the side of good. Glover Brown, I saw too. Senator Conner, Amara, Senator McGill. A number of them voted against this deal, and for obvious reasons. We've heard, we read some of the writings of some of them. Senator Conner, for instance, we listened to Minister Jackson, Sam Jackson, the economist, earlier on in the show tonight. And they're all providing reasons why, the Oronto deal should not be allowed to go through. Musa Hassan Beledi said I think he was going to vote for the Total bill, but they bundled the bill with the Oronto bill. As a disguise, as a Trojan horse, and so he was left with no choice but to vote against it, to vote it down because it poisoned the Total bill, and so he voted against that in the House, and so we thank those who stood up for the Liberian people. I just hope that somehow, some way, we will find a way in the future, to undo this and fix it. We want development in our country, but it has to be done right. Not at the expense of our people. And right now, this bill It's not a people friendly bill. I don't think it should be, passing on the floor of the legislature. But here we are. It is going to be with us for the duration, I think, of at least of this government and probably beyond. You pointed that out so many times that this bill was not even supposed to exceed 7 years, and yet they're giving it 10 years. I mean, why? You would say they were burdened by circumstances, and they were in a tight spot, and so they give them the requirement, but they're telling you that they so love this deal that they're giving them, a supermax, giving them extra 3 years. Why? So it really defies. I have to understand the motivation, the rationale for voting this bill, but I'll pass it on to you, and I'll.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Namwe. And want to say thanks to all of our viewers tonight, all those who join us on this live, broadcast from the different location. We want to say thanks for joining us tonight. It has been a very good time tonight. And Mr. Namwe and myself, we have had a scintillating conversation around the future of our country. And we also discuss on the different work CSC is doing. We talk about the Oranto Dew. Yeah, Oranto Dew has been wanted to talk about, in the country today, especially with the decision of the Senate. And, there have been a lot of people talking about it, a lot of information in the public, a lot of prejudice and everything. But we provided some clarity around. You will also play a video evidence of the voting process in the House of Senate today. And again, we'll talk about the decision of the Supreme Court today, decision of the Supreme Court the decision of the Supreme Court in ruling against the rate of prohibition filed by the former finance minister, Tue, and we spoke about that today. And then from there, we talk about the CMC news, the different activities of the CMC within country and out of the country, and how well we are organized in the diaspora community. As a matter of fact, we have established a huge consensus within the diaspora community, and with the different work we are doing. We believe that the CMC is gaining dominant, like we have done already in Liberia. We're gaining dominant in diaspora. And thanks to the global chair that Regis and all those who are making this to happen, it is because of your leadership that we have reached this far, establishing chapter within all of the major diaspora community. And it's something that worth, commendation. We appreciate you guys for the work. And Mr. Namwe, it's been a scintillating conversation between us tonight.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say that.
Thank you very much. I know you're going to say, but let me say thank you. This is your, first trial on moderating. You did an excellent job. Now you know what to do. So congratulations. Yeah. I'm very proud of you. But go ahead.
Yeah, one was a soya, always a soya.
That's right.
Yeah, just get ready for it. But I just want to end up by saying, the PO have been he have converted with most of the colleagues, like he did during the impasse in the House of Representatives. He's very good at lobbying around with other colleagues to make sure that the Liberians people job is put on their priorities. And I believe that the PO is still standing on his ground. He's still fighting for the Liberian people, and he's going to make sure that the Liberian people interests are put forth. So we appreciate all of you for watching. And from where I sit, it's already 3:30 a.m. in the morning, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And thanks for the sacrifices you are doing back in Liberia and all those who are joining the CMC. So we advise that you go and subscribe to our membership. Yeah. Mr. Namwe, if you have that, you can just put that up, lastly. So we ask that if you have the link, a link for the membership subscription.
Oh, absolutely. I'll type that now. But I wanted to thank Glover tonight, Dr. Richardson, even though she's not on the schedule, but she came in just to make sure that she helped us cue some of this stuff. So I just wanted to say a special thank you to her. Tireless never takes a day off. But yeah, that's a link in there. Thank you, Dr. Richardson.
Oh.
CMCLIB.com. That's where you go to sign up to become a
So
part of
you,
us.
you just take your smartphone and go to www.cmclib.com and register to be a registered member of our political party. First time in history to have a digital membership with a political party within Liberia. We introduced that, and we will stand on the ground to make sure our Liberian people can be delivered by us come 2029. So it has been a good time. So studio, I don't know if our guys are in studio, so they can take control. If Mr. Nangwa, you have that control as well, you can also take control from our end.
I think that the Richardson is going to do it for us. I've never really signed up before, but if Doc is there, Doc, please, if you can. I think our guys, I don't know what happened to them, to Ansu and Henry, but thank you, Doc, if you can take us home.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
CMC, for the people, by the people, and to the people. Citizens movement for change. Oh yes, a new day has come. Yes, a new day has come. Rise up Liberia. CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better Liberia. Equity, national unity, transparency, accountability, social justice, integrity. CMC core values. CMC Global. It is a new day for Liberia. It is a new day for the people. Let's go together. Let's go together. It's a unity. Raise up your hands. CMC. The land of liberty, the land of freedom, the love of liberty brought us together. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC, for the people. CMC, yes, by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC, yes, for the people. CMC, yes, by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, yes, 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 the time has come.